So if you're Joe Burrow coming off of that game against the Ravens yesterday, where, mind you, for as wild as that game was, for as many points as the Bengals gave up, they still are winning that game, if not for a mishandled long snap that gets dropped on the ground.
Yeah, the short snap, the field goal in overtime.
And Evan McPherson hooks it. Like, you are winning.
I mean, the ball literally gets placed as McPherson is
great.
inches away from kicking the ball.
I was amazed that he kicked it.
Yeah, I was shocked, too. He even got it off.
All the time where if the ball's even slightly off, the kicker just bails.
Yep.
In this case, it was he decided to swing at it, and it wasn't even close. Yep. They still win that game. And this is sometimes how a good season can turn bad and worse, which is, it's one thing to, okay, week one, you come out and you play totally flat against the Patriots. You're dealing with Jamar Chase. You don't know until 2 hours before kickoff, is this guy even playing? T. Higgins gets hurt during the week. Your whole game plan is messed up. You come out flat. I think that everybody, as much as it's now amazing in hindsight that the Patriots beat anybody through the course of this season.
Well, that week one result is going to go down as like, how in the hell did that happen, you know?
Exactly. Week two, you go and you go to Kansas City. Week three, home against Washington, and that's a Jaden Daniels breakout game. You go to Carolina, and then you're home against Baltimore. I mean, that's what they've done so far. The only win in that span was against the Panthers in Carolina, and that's a 10-point win against a team that's been, again, one of the worst teams in the NFL. You know, I'd love to sit here and say you can live with a shootout loss to the Ravens, knowing how banged up their defense is. But at the same time, when Joe Burrow says we're not a championship-level team right now, he's right. And there are just kind of these fundamental breakdowns. Yesterday, it happens to be on special teams, and they got one of the best special teams coordinators in the league, and Darren Simmons. They got a really good defensive coordinator in Lou Anarumo. At some point, players have to step up and make some plays. And repeatedly yesterday, when it's Lamar almost falling down and then getting up and then stiff-arming a guy twice and then throwing the ball across his body to Isaiah Likely, it's just somebody's got to make a play. There's no call for that. You don't have the, hey, this is where Lamar's going to fall down and then get up and then stiff arm Sam Hubbard twice and then throw it across his body. Like, there's no play for that. At some point, the players have to step up. They are shorthanded on that side. Bengals are also not a team that historically has gone out and like made big trades or made big free agent acquisitions during the season. Their roster kind of is their roster. So what rights the ship for the Cincinnati Bengals? I don't have a clear answer to that question other than continue to try to score as many points as possible and do something to shake things up on defense where you can play better. Like, it's easy to sit here and say it, but like, you don't watch the Bengals and go, oh, this is one of the worst teams in the NFL, but they have one of the worst records in the NFL, and this is a big-time hole to climb out of. Even in a 17-game season, you're 1-4 at this stage. Like, that's tough to come back from.
Yeah.
The Ravens are this close, by the way, from falling all the way to 0-3. They hold off the Cowboys in that game. They went 0-3. And now, you get debates about, are the Ravens the best team in football? Because they've come back and they've win games, and they do look really, really dangerous. Like, sometimes it's those bounces, it's those individual plays in the course of a long season that can shape where you're at and kind of the entire environment around the team. Right now, the Ravens going to Dallas and getting that win in week 3, I don't want to say that turned the season, but it sure would have looked a lot different if they lose that game.
Right.
For sure.
Well, they're also, remember the toe in week 1, the weird ending against the Raiders. They could be undefeated. Same thing with the Bengals. They could easily be 3-2. The whole snap goes differently. The pass interference call at the end of the Chiefs game goes differently. And now suddenly we're thinking about the Bengals as Super Bowl contenders. And now you look at the numbers. Cincinnati has a 5% chance of making the playoffs at 1-4.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku Channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.